Hi there, this is Mr. Jacob Nash, and in this video we'll be looking at how easy is it to improve on the ACT. Well, sometimes people can just say, the ACT just says itself, oh, usually when people take it again, they do better. Well, let's see. So we're going to be looking at graphs for each of the tests. Now, before we do, something to keep in mind, two things. First thing is, sorry that the horizontal axis numbers are up high. The x-axis numbers are up high. That's just a glitch. I made this on Google Drawings. But also sorry that there's no labels, so that's really three things. But the third thing is, since not all the tests have the same amount of questions, the graphs might appear to look steeper than one another, but we should only compare steepness within a graph, and you'll see what I mean. But so here's the ACT English. So it's showing you, as you get more questions right, what score would you get? Now, it's important to take note of that the graph, if the graph gets steeper, then that means it's easier to improve. If the graph is not very steep, then it's not that easy to improve. So let's say that you got a 14 on the English. So if you did, then you probably got about, this looks like 28 questions, right? Well, if you got only a couple more questions right, that would only improve you 1 point. So it wouldn't be that easy to improve on the English if you got a pretty low score. But the higher score you got, the easier it is to improve. So if you got a 30, okay, then you might have gotten about 62 questions right. I think that would be 63 questions, right? And if you notice, if you just got one more right, you would get a 31. Two more right, you would get a 32. And so you see this graph gets steeper up here. So basically, it's easier to improve if you already got a higher score. But if you just get a couple more questions right, no matter where you are, you're still going to improve some. So that's something to consider. Now let's look at the math. Well, the math looks the same, but if you notice, the graph is very steep at the beginning. So if you somehow got like 1 on the math or something, well, that would be if you did nothing. If you got a 4 on the math, if you just get one more question right, you get a 6. Obviously, both are not good scores, but just saying, this graph is incredibly steep at the beginning. But once you get around here, oh, that's not steep at all. So if you got a 13 on math or 14 or something, and if you notice that this is slightly off, like these dots should be slightly higher. I don't know why that happened, but if you got it 14, then let me turn on the laser thing. Then it's not really easy to improve, because even if you got 11 questions right, even if you got 14 right, you would still be at a 14. But once again, as we get up higher, it's easier to improve. All right, now reading something, it's even steeper, very steep at the end, because pretty much if with every question you get right, you improve by 1 point. At 1 point, you can actually improve by 2 points. If you get 32 right, that is a 28. If you get 33 right, that's a 30 on the reading. And then it goes up, 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 up as you go. So if you notice, for all the tests, you don't even have to get all the questions right to get a 36. And the science is pretty similar. Every question you get, you could go up in a point, but it is less steep at the beginning. So essentially, the answer is, it is pretty easy to improve on the ACT, but if you had a pretty mediocre or average score, then it may be harder to improve by a lot of points. But if you already had a somewhat high score, then you can get a even higher score easier, because the graphs are steeper at the end. So that's what this means. So hopefully this helped. Thank you for watching.